All right, it's been a hot minute since I've done an episode. So here we are, we're back. And I have a question to ask you. How much time do you think you spend talking to yourself? I'm not meaning talking about yourself. We all love to talk about ourselves. There's plenty of studies that prove that. However, what I'm discussing here is talking in your own head, whether you talk out loud to yourself or it's all internal. How much time do you think you spend talking to yourself? And so I started looking into this and, getting some facts and figures on it. Now, there are studies, you can look them up, go for it. However, it's around 96% of adults admit to having a lot of internal dialogue. Now, something that's really cool about it, I thought was really cool anyway, is there's a study that was done at Durham University by a guy named Charles Ferneyhoff. He's actually written a book as well about internal dialogue, and he says that our inner chatter, our talking to ourselves, generates about 4,000 words per minute, and that our internal dialogue works 10 times faster than actual verbal speech. So I thought, okay, well that's interesting, isn't it? That there's that much self-talk going on, okay? So here's the thing about self-talk though, is what we tell ourselves, the names we use, the words we use, the things we say to ourselves can actually be quite negative and, borderline abusive, wouldn't you say? What names do you call yourself under your breath? And I'm talking about as simple as, you get up to go to the fridge and get something, and then you walk away and you forget what you even went there for. And so you might go, oh, idiot. What did you go there for? So you call yourself a name. You drop something, you say, oh, God, I'm clumsy. Those kinds of labels, those names that we call ourselves. And that's what I mean by borderline abusive. The amount of times, and I'm guilty of this in the past, that I use really quite nasty words and names for myself, calling myself stupid or whatever else, other names as well. I mean, think of this. Women are acutely aware of it, and yet we tend to do jack shit about it. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, and maybe men do it a lot as well, please let me know if you do. You look in the mirror, and the first thing you do is be critical. You look for what's wrong instead of, looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, oh, geez, this dress gives me a nice shape. Or, man, I like that colour on me. Or, oh, my hair's banging today. We tend to look in the mirror and we're looking to criticise first. Like, oh, this makes my butt look big. Or, oh, I'm too fat to wear this. I'm never going to get away with it. Or, oh, my legs look awful in this shape. Or, do you know what I mean? We're straight away looking to criticise ourselves and put those names and those labels on ourselves. Now, the thing is, negative self-talk actually changes the brain. And again, studies have been done on which parts of the brain light up when we have self-talk and whether it's negative or whether it's positive. And negative self-talk changes the brain in similar ways and in such a way that actually makes us more vulnerable to anxiety and depression. When you say something enough, you start to believe that it's true. It starts to shape your identity. Have you ever come across someone, or perhaps you yourself, who might say something like, oh God, I hate mathematics. I am not a math person. I'm terrible with numbers. Don't give me a math problem. I wonder where that started. Some clients I've had when they have negative self-talk like that, I can trace it right back to something that happened at school. And they got one thing wrong and it didn't make sense to them, or the way that it was taught didn't suit them. It didn't make sense, and no one took the time to, explain it in a way that made sense to that person's mind. And so then they start telling themselves to make ourselves feel better. When we have that cognitive dissonance, we almost lie to ourselves and make the thing less important. Like, oh, well, I don't really need to be good at mathematics. Everyone's got a mobile phone with a built-in calculator these days, so what does it matter if I'm not good at math? We say those things and diminish its importance in our life so that we can feel better about it. However, it doesn't change the fact that we will take those negative names on as part of our identity. And so then we limit our capabilities. We limit what we can learn and achieve by simply saying, oh, well, I couldn't go and learn how to be a pilot, get my pilot's license because, remember, I'm crappy at math. I'm bad at mathematics. I'm terrible with numbers, so I could never be a pilot. So straight away, you lower the bar for yourself and limit yourself based on what? A negative name that you gave yourself probably ages ago and have kept reiterating it so much to the fact that it is now part of your identity, with no real solid proof, and not believing in yourself to overcome that perceived barrier. So I want you to think about the negative self-talk you do have currently. How do you talk to yourself? I've sat before thinking, oh God, it's so hot. I'm sweating. I wouldn't be so hot and sweaty if I wasn't overweight, or I wasn't wearing these clothes, or I wasn't. Again, it's always looking for the criticism and the negative instead of actually empowering ourselves to come up with a solution or to look at it from a different way. It's not about always being, the happy-go-lucky, only think and talk positively. Like, that's not what I'm getting at either. If we take the mathematics thing, instead of saying, oh God, no, I'm shitty at math, don't give me a math problem, I'm hopeless with numbers. What if instead we started, reframing that part of our identity to say, you know what, I always believed I wasn't good at mathematics. And as a result, I think I set myself up to struggle with numbers. However, I can turn that around. I can expose myself more and more to numbers, to mathematics, and learn a different way. I have the power to do that. So when you change the narrative in your own mind, that's how you empower yourself to give yourself more choice, more opportunity, a better belief system about yourself, rather than relying on the bullshit story that may have helped you at one point in your life. It kept you safe, or it made you feel better. However, it's holding you back now. So yeah, self-talk. I'd like you to think about that for a little while. Think about your internal dialogue. Think of how often you put yourself down, and recognize that what you're actually doing is abusing yourself and therefore you are going to behave and act like an abuse victim. You're going to limit yourself, you're going to lack belief in yourself, and you're not going to really live up to your full potential. That's my thoughts anyway. Let me know what you think. Have a great day.